Welcome back to another week of workouts, and in today's video, like the title says, I'll be sharing the workouts I did this past week to add muscle mass to my physique. And I've been sharing my workouts on YouTube for a very long time now, a couple years maybe, I don't even know at this point, but it's been helping me to develop and share my workout routine and fitness journey as we go along to the pursuit and the goal of attaining godly aesthetics in the physique realm. And we're starting the workout. We're starting the video off by hitting chest, back, and legs. We started with some easy bar on the incline bench to get a really good stretch in our upper pec, and we're gonna do a decline to get the swoop of the pec to develop our chest even more. And then after the decline dumbbell bench press, which I haven't done in a while, and it's actually a really good exercise to use to mix things up, really just shock the muscle, because it's not really a movement that I don't see too many people doing too often, and it's one of those that it wouldn't hurt to do it. And after doing those, we hit the Peck Deck to get in some more volume, and then we're gonna finish off the chest nicely with a dumbbell pullover. I will never not do a chest workout without the dumbbell pullover. It is just one of those exercises that does it for me. Same with the cable lat pulldowns. It always adds more to my physique rather than taking away or makes it look weird. But that doesn't really happen when you train. As long as you train with good form, your muscles will develop correctly. After we hit the cable lat pulldowns, which is really good at developing the V-taper, we're going to add some more volume to the back by hitting our back in a different manner, doing some rows. It's always good to add in some rows, some pull downs, some pull overs into the regime, because you're just targeting and hitting that back all over, making sure to stimulate those muscle fibers and really grow where you want the muscle to grow. We're doing the cable rows and the cable pullovers. We pretty much use cables entirely for the back portion of the workout, which is totally fine. The idea is to just hit it and hit it hard, getting in good volume and making sure that our workouts don't ever feel stale, because at that point we're not really progressing in our lifts. And after doing that, after hitting the chest, after hitting the back, we are moving on to the leg portion of the workout, and we're going to start by hitting some barbell squats, a very OG old school movement that just hits the quads hard, hits the legs hard, even the glutes feel it in those. And after doing that, we're moving on to some isolation work for the hamstrings with some seated leg curls. And that concluded day number 1 workout, hitting the chest, back, and legs. And now we're moving on to day number 2, hitting the shoulders, the biceps, the triceps, and the forearms. And we are starting off the workout strong with some seated dumbbell shoulder presses to build overall size and strength in our shoulders. And then after doing these, we are still gonna do the shoulder exercise. We're gonna do 3 exercises for the shoulder, doing an incline dumbbell lateral raise on the side. I love this variation of a lateral raise because the angle just hits the sweet spot of the lateral head for me. So if you've never done it, definitely give it a try. It's a really good feeling. And then to finish up our shoulders, we're gonna hit the rear delts, which is the back side of the shoulder. Can't forget about training the rear delts when we hit shoulders, because we want to develop some full round cap shoulders, and this is the way to do it. You gotta hit all of the major heads of the shoulder to develop the full round cap. Now we are moving on to the bicep portion of the workout, hitting the biceps hard with an easy bar preacher curl. The preacher curl offers an amazing stretch and a really good feeling, a good contraction of the muscle because of that angle. So focusing on the squeeze when you are doing those is extremely crucial, and it really does satisfy your soul when you are getting that pump on and using your muscle mind connection to its full capability. And after doing the easy bar bicep preacher curls. We're hitting them with some standard dumbbell bicep curls, doing them standing. And any exercise we do standing, we're going to want to make sure to engage our core. And still, again, if there's a mirror, just use that mirror to build that muscle mind connection. Now we're moving on to the tricep portion of the workout, doing an easy bar skull crusher, but this time on an incline bench, which was actually the first time I had ever done those, and it felt pretty nice. It's always good to add in new exercises, trying new things, seeing what works for you, what feels the best is really key to it. So if there's ever an exercise that you don't enjoy, you can just replace it with one of your favorites, because it really just comes down to getting a good workout in at the gym. And after hitting the skull crushers, we hit the triceps even harder with some cable tricep push downs. And then we're going to finish off the arm day with some easy bar wrist curls to build strength in our forearms and our grip, so we can carry even more weight when we train. And that was the end of day 2. And day 3, you will take a rest day. And now we are starting it again with day number 4, hitting the chest, back, and legs yet again. And we're starting off with hitting the dumbbell bench press to build strength and size in our pecs. And then we're moving on to some wide grip dips, and I am using the assistants because I just want to make sure that we hit in those reps. The reps are really what build and are the foundation of building the muscle mass, because it really comes down to time under tension and how many times you are repping it in, filling that muscle full of blood. After doing the wide grip dips, we are moving on to the Peck Deck to hit the chest in a slightly different manner. Again, just like the shoulders, we are hitting the chest in every different possible angle to ensure maximum muscle growth and a fully developed pec, because that is what we are working towards. So we finished off the chest portion of the workout with some dumbbell pullovers, always putting the cherry on the top with those. And I love starting out my back workouts with a cable lat pull down. It is just the best exercise that I find to develop the V taper. It is essential for me because anytime I skip it, I can instantly tell when I'm flexing in my posing videos that my back just doesn't look as developed, or it just lacks that wideness to it. So hitting those cable lat pull downs is a non-negotiable for me. And then we're going to move on to a row, and this time we're doing an easy bar bent over row, hitting the back, the mid and upper back with those. And then we're moving on to some supinated wrist cable lat pull downs. This is a variation of a lat pull down where your wrists are actually facing you and it hits your mid back and also the lower region of your lats. Again, doing different exercises to make sure that we hit all the different regions of the back to develop a full back. Now we're moving on to the leg portion of the workout with some leg extensions, an isolation exercise to target the quads, making sure to again pick a weight that you can do those reps. That's why I like using machines. It's easier to load the weight. And after doing the leg extensions for the quads, we're going to do an isolation exercise for the hamstrings, making sure that we hit the back side of our legs, which is where the hamstrings are at, by doing some seated leg curls. And after doing that, that would complete our chest, back, and leg day. And now we're moving on to day number 5, hitting the shoulders, biceps, triceps, and forearms yet again, starting this time with the behind the neck press using an easy bar. And if this variation of a shoulder press is too taxing on your shoulders, you can always move it to the front. I always like to do it behind my neck because it moves the tension from the front side a bit more to the lateral head. And then we're going to follow that exercise with some dumbbell lateral raises, this time hitting the lateral head a bit more directly. And then we're going to finish off the shoulder portion of the workout with some bent over rear delt flies. I love doing these. This is my all-time favorite for building rear delts because it just hits them really nicely, and having the head on the bench relieves tension from that need of having to keep yourself up, so you can just really focus on hitting them hard when you do this exercise. And now we're moving on to the bicep portion of the workout by hitting them with some cable bicep curls. Love doing this variation of a bicep curl because the cable keeps the tension on the bicep throughout the movement, so you really feel a good burn when you do this specific exercise. And then after doing those, we are actually going to do an exercise that is pretty challenging, the dumbbell Zottman curl, which is a strict bicep curl which moves into a reverse curl. It's a great variation of a curl because you are basically doing two motions in one. It really fires up the biceps, the brachialis, the forearms, and your hand grip as well. It is just an overall great exercise. And now we are hitting the triceps with a variation of a skull crusher, a tricep extension, which is a dumbbell cross the body tricep extension, and it feels really good, and it really does emphasize the stretch of the tricep. That's why I love using that movement within my regime. It's one that I feel like is actually very beneficial for my triceps. Same with the dumbbell French press. Sometimes I do this movement one arm at a time, and other times when I'm feeling it, I use two arms just to add a bit more weight so I can really hit them hard by lifting a bit heavier. And we are finishing off our arm day by doing some dumbbell hammer curls. And that concludes our workout video for today. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more workouts like this in the future. And as always, stay tuned and thank you for watching.